Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. Good morning. We're going to do the market open update. Last night we were talking about a potential breakout on the 4-hour that we were monitoring in here. We had the breakout and then we had one candle that was coming back down to do the retest. The second 4-hour candle though completely re-enter the previous range. And that is something that we said in the video, that if we ended up doing that, I'm going to have to downgrade the 4-hour back into the red, because this was the opportunity that we had for the daily to follow through from the support into the top of the ascending wedge to give us that potential move into over 110. We were talking about 116. So we'll see now what is the damage of this retracement. The first thing is obviously is a fake out, right? In the past, if you've been watching the channel, when we get a fake out on the 4-hour and we come back down, we look into multiple things. We look first, did we put lower low? And in this case, in the momentum, yes, we did. We broke down the ascending slope, the ascending one. We put a new lower low. So the RSI 4-hour, the time frame 4-hour should be downgraded to red because of those elements. Second, because we are also forming an M pattern here on the 4-hour. And if the neckline was at 108, 841, right now we will be pretty much pushing that level down. We have the next levels of support is the same. I talked about it last night, which is the RSI 44. At the moment, that moving target is located at 108.140. You can see that the RSI 40 of support has been pinched a few times. So first in here, second time there. So that is kind of the last line in the sand to remain with some hopes on the 4-hour that in the short term we can really move up. So we need to see if between where we are and 108.1 we are really going to react there and the bulls are going to step in. I'm going to show you the bid versus ask ratio to show you the interest of the longs at the moment. At this point, if it's very high, there is a chance that we can do something. If it's very low or red, well, they might be thinking that the correction could be a little bit deeper. So let's move on into the daily time frame. That is 111D. And let's see if we have broken this time in the price section of the daily, the support. And I will say that today is the day that we define whether we're going to hold that support. You can see the ascending sloping channel here at 108.8. If we were to close like that, we are pretty much breaking down, right? Very, very small breakdown, but you know, if we go just into 108, well, then it's more evident, particularly if we close the daily like that. If we hold the support, this is the area too long, and take the risk that we are really gonna still make it into 116. If you think that that is the case, you long from support, right? We are right here at support, and we can hit the 116. That is the move if we were to do the revenge rally that we talked about yesterday. On the daily, we are at the same point we were, and we have a hidden bullish divergence that is confirmed thanks to this move up. So as long as the RSI doesn't come below 63 and doesn't start putting another lower low, we still have the chances that we can use that to go into 76. Long in support on the 4-hour. Of course, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't look right, but you know that is how you do it. You don't do it once it start rallying already. So let's look at the rest of the charts. I got the MACD as well that turned now into the red on the daily, and we have the rolling over that now is starting pointing down. So we really need the bulls to step in to rescue this from falling. You know, when you get a situation like this, you enter into the red, that has been a buying opportunity. This time, hopefully it is again, but not because you have this channel down on the MACD. That means that we're going to necessarily dump. It's an area of concern, sure. But in 2024, before this ascending move into 7,000 on the MACD, we were also going down in the MACD. We entered into the red, and from the red and from 2,000, we made a move from 7,000. So I'm just discarding that many people in social are going to say, well, this is done. No, it's not done. It could still kick to the upside. There is still some hope. Are we starting to push it too far? A little bit, but not more than what we did in 2024. And in 2024, we still managed to make the move up. Let's go to the fair value gaps, and let's see if we have any incentive to go up from new fair value gaps. And we do have a new fair value gap that ends at around 109,500. So that could bring the price back up, pointed back up above support on the daily, and on the 4-hour start attempting another breakout to the upside. So that's kind of the hopium for that continuation to the upside. If we break down from the double bottom on the 4-hour and we stay below the neckline, let me show you here triple 4-hour. So you see here we have a double bottom on the 4-hour with a neckline at 108,870. So if we start coming back down, put a candle close, coming back up, retesting the 108.9 as resistance, then we need to calculate this. This is from 110 and let's say 110 and 700 to 108 800. So that's more or less 2K move down from 108 800. So that could take us into 106 700, and that is beyond this support in red. So that if it plays out, it could cause a pinch of the global support on the 4-hour, and that is a little bit too far from what I like to continue, repeating that the top, a new all-time high is still on the table. Then I start thinking that the chances are slimmer than compared to where we are now. Let's go and let's look at the order book, starting with high block capital. I want to show you the bid versus ask ratio. That is kind of the chart that is calling my attention this morning. And there's one more to the right. This one. Cool. So we have around a 0.002 of bidding ratio, bid versus ask. We managed to get around a 0.04 when we were defending that red candle here, and we got bought up. We went down into 107.6, which was that support from that RSI 44. And here we could do something similar, but we need to really bounce back up above support about 108A. And we have this defense of 0.02, which is half of what we had in the previous low. So I'm just thinking, let's see if the price goes down in here and the bidding increases substantially to defend that. And then we don't break down from the double top. Let's also remember that all this move from 74 to the top, there's been always bearish patterns like this, double tops, head and shoulders, inverse cup and handles, and all of them have played out as have faken out, sorry. And none of them have played out. And let's look at the order book. Let's see if we can actually see the order book in here. So I don't see many big orders, and they are holding the price with this 400. That is why we have that very slim 0.02 of bid ask, because you have this 400 at the top and this 400 here with some 300s. Those 300, everything is canceling out. You're just in a sandwich of liquidity up and down, very small liquidity. And I see that, I think this is the 113,500. Yes, true. And it's got around 400 again. Everything is very slim in the order book this morning. So I will say we need to look into how things play out on that 4-hour, if it manages to recover or not. The liquidity is the same. We don't have new levels. We still have that 113 liquidation level and the 100K below us. And things are looking like we are going to go up because of liquidity. If we just focus on liquidity, we are gonna obviously just see the 113, and that's it. And it's gonna give us that bias that we're going up. But little by little, we are starting to destroy the 4-hour. Remember last night I left 4-hour and daily in gray, but I think if we are going to have to move the 4-hour into red and look at that potential breakdown into 106. If we get into 106 and we see the bidding increasing substantially, well, I'll give you a shout, because then potentially they are once again holding the price and they want just a spring to get into 113. We'll see. Another thing I wanted to show you is the general markets. General markets closed really good yesterday, and but right at the weekly resistance. And let me show you. So there's been a pretty good close. Almost everything in the green. Tesla was doing great, and many other stocks. You can see that on the weekly RSI, we are approaching that weekly resistance. We are getting a little bit like shy as we approach the weekly resistance, both on the Nasdaq, and I think on S&P is kind of the same thing, but we still don't get a global breakout above 58 and 59 on Nasdaq. Everything looks like it wants to do it, but it hasn't done it yet. So if we get that breakout, then I will feel a little bit more confident that that can also bring crypto up. Let me know if you appreciate this very early morning update. I'm still having my coffee in here, watching the charts together, and I'll see you later for a more in-depth video on Bitcoin. Enjoy your day. Take care. Bye-bye.